Welcome to Positivity with Nirmit. Today we have the second episode of Doctors for a Cause Mental Health Task Force. And we have three brilliant upcoming doctors, budding doctors who are making a difference to this world. They are looking at mental health of people and how it should be taken up further. We have with us the Director of the Mental Health Task Force, Anurakti Majumdar. Please welcome her.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this beautiful introduction. Hello and welcome to everyone to our second episode of Positivity. A little about Doctors for a Cause. Doctors for a Cause is a non-governmental social welfare organization based out of Calcutta. It has been in existence for 3 years. Currently, we're a body of medical, non-medical interns and young doctors from all over India. We boast of a core team, an executive board, and a team of volunteers working with us from all over the country. We also constitute 8 different task forces. The Mental Health Task Force is responsible for this session today. The Mental Health Task Force aims on building a community of beautiful, compassionate people who do not let anyone go through their difficulties alone. And we do so by learning and growing with everyone who chooses to join our task force. To us, each and every difficulty faced by every age group is of equal importance, ranging from a bad day to a serious mental health disorder. We want to bridge the gap between non-medicos and general public with the medical professionals and provide relief to each and every person that needs our help so that no lives are ever lost due to lack of knowledge. So today, from my task force, I have 2 very beautiful people, Elena Ali and Akanksha Mahajan, who are willing to share their beautiful experiences with us and enlighten us on their journey.
Wonderful. I must say, the Mental Health Task Force is doing such a commendable and such a wonderful work. I have been following your work for quite some time now, and I'm totally impressed. Young doctors like you, budding doctors, I must say, you're doing such a wonderful job, and I can really say that, India is in good hands. All right. So coming back to our show, Positivity, here we there's a lot of negativity in the environment. And we have to, seriously and actively infuse positivity because it is not coming on its own. It is not naturally flowing. And so we have to, infuse it artificially, whatever it is, so that, we start going into a positive spiral. Nowadays, people are going into a negative spiral, and we really want to avoid that. So coming to you, Elena, I would like you to share, how do you see, have you gone through anything and how did you cope up?
I have separation anxiety from very long when I was a child. And
what is separation anxiety? Could you explain for our viewers?
Separation
Speak such heavy terms which common general public might not understand. So just explain what is separation.
Separation anxiety is basically a fear of losing your loved ones. And I know that many people have the fear of losing their loved ones, but separation anxiety is an exaggeration of that. You get baseless thoughts that anytime you can lose anyone near or dear to you. Not even near or dear, just someone you know. For maybe 5 minutes, you'll feel bad leaving them and thinking you're not going to talk to them anymore. And I've had separation anxiety since I don't even remember, I guess 8 or 9 years. I mean, it was after I.
Caused it?
When I was 6 years old, one of my brothers died. And at that time, I wasn't even aware what is death and what is life. I just knew.
What is it? Was it an accident or something?
No, it wasn't an accident. It was a genetic disease. He had a genetic disease, and I did not even know about anything about it. I just knew he was sick, and he was taken to the hospital. I remember my uncle came with his body in his hands, and I was shocked. What is going on? I did not know what was going on. I talked to everyone. I saw my mother fainted. I saw my father crying. I saw my brother saying, my elder brother saying, "Ki, don't panic, don't think a lot. Just come, I'll get you something to eat." And I was just, "Ki, what happened to Sharab Bhaiya?" That was the name of my brother. What happened to him? Why isn't he responding? Why is everyone crying? And that was the last memory of him for me. I don't even have a lot of memories. I just knew he's not going to be with me anymore. That was the only thing that was told to me.
Obviously, you were just
He
six
won't be
years
living.
old.
Yes. So I was just told he's not going to live with you anymore. After that, I started getting scared. Are more people going to not live with me anymore? Is someone else that's going to leave me? And I had my elder brother who was the most understanding person in this whole world. I would say he would always talk to me. He would always cheer me up. We would always just sit around and gossip, make hilarious songs out of things, and it was the best time of my life. And I thought, at least I have someone who can I always look up to and talk to him. But that fear of losing him was also there, but it was suppressed with all the love and care he showered on me. But when I was 12 years old, like I was about to be 13, he, when I was 11, he fell sick. And he was sick for almost 6 months, like he had jaundice. And I was just sad. I thought he just have jaundice, he'll just get better. He will get better. That was the thing in my mind. I just told myself he will get better. He won't leave me because he promised he won't leave me. And um, when I was 12 years old, he got a respiratory disease. I wasn't aware of anything. I was just told he has pneumonia and his condition is worsening, so he should be taken to another hospital in Lucknow. He was taken there, and I remember the last conversation I had with him was he was angry on me, saying, "Why do you always come to meet me in hospital? It's not safe for you." He even slapped me that day, saying, "You are an idiot coming to me." And I said, "Go away. I won't talk to you anymore. I won't come and I won't meet you." That was the last conversation I had with him. And when he was in Lucknow, I literally cried thinking, what the hell did I even tell him? I won't talk to you anymore. How can I even say that? I cried. I pleaded my mother to let me come to Lucknow to meet him. And I went there with my uncle and aunt, but he was on ventilator that time and he could not talk to me. I could not tell him, I miss you and I'm sorry for whatever I told. I, I feel so guilty that the last conversation I had with him was, "I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to meet you anymore." And I came back because he was not conscious. I just remember he would always sense someone near him and his heart rate would increase. And it was that he was responding, but he was not conscious. His mind was just responding there is someone beside him. And I came back after a few days, and I remember I used to pray a lot, like cry that, "Please, please save my brother. I cannot live without him. I just cannot, I just cannot bear the pain again of losing someone." And one day, I was going to school that day. Then everyone told me, "Don't go to school. We have to read Quran and pray for your brother." I said, "Why?" He said, "We're just going to read for his safety, for his betterment." And I said, "Okay, sure, I'll just wait and I'll read." And everyone was just talking in groups and they were separating me and not letting me know what was going on. I wanted to know what is going on, but no one was telling me anything. So I it was around 3 p.m. when my aunt told me that my brother is coming back because he's not feeling well and he's coming here to meet another doctor, go to another hospital. So in my mind, I was like, I would talk to him again and I can say sorry this time for saying him I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to come to you anymore. And I remember the ambulance came and his body was in front of me. I lost it. I I was like, my words could not get out of my mouth. I was like, you guys are horrible for doing this to me, for hiding things from me. And I got to know that everyone knew about this from 1:30 a.m. and they told me 3 p.m. that he's coming to meet me. And I just could not accept the fact that I'm not going to see him anymore. And seeing my mother like again faint, again going through all these things was very painful. I I closeted off myself from everyone I knew. I stopped talking to them. I hated everyone. I screamed on my parents so many times. And my parents were also angry. I don't know why they were angry. I remember my father said one line ki, I don't even know if she will live with us for long, if she will also leave us. That was what my father said. And I I just didn't know what I should say, how I should react. Everyone told you're so strong, you are holding on, you're keeping everything, you're holding on, but I was not. I was just hiding myself from everyone. I was just hiding all my pain. I was just not crying in front of everyone, and they thought I'm very strong and I've accepted everything in my life. But it was not the case. I was just keeping
People,
everything inside
actually,
myself.
people and parents and everybody, in that generation, they feel that, they don't understand, the child understands much more than what they can think. And it's better to talk and tell the truth rather than, hiding. It came as a shock to you. Then you just, instead of,
My parents,
person who starts believing that my brother is coming and sees a dead body, that's a bigger shock rather than, slowly telling ki, see that this is happening and that is happening. So, you mentally get prepared. Your parents were probably mentally prepared because they knew what was happening. But it came as such a big shock, and people don't realize that it's so important to tell, to talk the right thing. See, you developed mistrust, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
actually, my
You should have been
parents,
told.
my parents did not stop anyone from telling me. They told ki inform Alina, but my uncle and aunt thought that it was better to hide things from me since they don't know how I will react.
So this was even worse, no? This what happened was even worse.
Yes, I had in my mind he's going to come. He's going to come and he's going to talk to me. I did not think he will come as a. I'm sorry. I could not even imagine what I saw in front of my eyes.
That is why, emotional intelligence is so important. It has to be built from childhood. You know, these things were not existing. People didn't know about it. And so that is why, I don't say that your uncle and aunt had some ill feeling or anything. This is what they thought would be better, but actually it turned out to be bad. So, education, some of the most important skills are not taught in school. And that's unfortunate. Emotional intelligence is so important. It has to be, these life skills, it has to be a part of the curriculum. Everything, academics, what is it? Everything is available on any search engine, on the internet. What is missing is developing these skills, and the best time to develop these skills is the childhood. So the generation above us, they have not been trained. It is so important to develop emotional intelligence. Had they known about it, they would have, behaved in a different way. They would have reacted. Even your parents or people, they would have known that, a 13-year-old child, it's better still. What 13-year-old, even 5 years old? It's better to tell and talk the right thing. This is so important. And that is why this generation and the previous generation, before that, I also don't know, they're all facing so many mental health issues. Why? The right time for this is, the initial years. And Elena, you went through such a lot in your initial years, right? From 6 years old. And my advice to you, just stop, blaming yourself that, the last time you talked to your brother was this. You know what? Let me tell you, the moment the thought of, sorry comes in your heart, the same time it just gets communicated, whether you communicate in words or no. So just be with the thought that, your brother got it and he knows he loves you. You know what happens is, we Indians, especially, we don't have the vocabulary. What happened with you? You said the wrong things because you didn't have the vocabulary. Everything was coming to you as a shock. You were not responding, you were reacting. There's a lot of difference between responding and reacting. Had you had the knowledge, what is going on, you would have thought and responded and not reacted this way. Then you said, you screamed at your mother. It's again, we never, especially in India, it's so unfortunate. How we express is, if we want to show a higher severity of, emotion, we just raise the voice. So if I say, आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा, and then still the child keeps doing the same wrong thing, आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा, I just raise the voice and say the same words. But if you see internationally, if you see abroad, people don't raise their voice, they change the intensity of vocabulary. So they will say, like, I'm getting angry now. I'm first upset. I'm angry. I'm furious now. But they will say in the same tone. So they have this vocabulary of, intensity of words. That's how they can express. It is so important. Why do you think a child cries? Why do you think? For everything. He cries to get somebody, he cries for food, he cries when he's wet, everything, because he doesn't have vocabulary. And what we are so grown up and we do the same thing. We don't know how to use vocabulary. It is so important to use the vocabulary correctly. And this is what happened. So first of all, just shed all this guilt. Your sorry was definitely communicated to your brother, and he understood. He's such a loving guy. When he understood everything and he loves you, he'll never feel anything. So just be with it. It's okay. Yeah, continue. Sorry, I broke the rhythm. I was getting so heavily emotional. I had to, break it. I literally had tears in my eyes. So continue, please.
So after I stopped talking to my parents, and I feel like my parents also stopped talking to me a bit. My mother hated me during that time, honestly. She stopped talking to me. I would be like, Mom, what happened? She's like, don't talk to me like. And I didn't blame her. She lost two of her sons. How could I say anything to her? So
the whole family was grieving. I mean, nobody can be blamed. The whole family was grieving. Everybody was, somehow trying to cope up with their grief.
So I didn't say anything to.
I can say that.
I felt as if she hated me during that time. And then the separation anxiety grew more. In school also, I had people talking about this and asking stuff, like asking what happened and everything. And it was hard because I didn't want their sympathy on this. I didn't want them to tell, I feel bad for you, whatever happened and stuff like that.
Because every time you repeat, you go through the same pain again. People don't, this is again another thing, in Indian society. People just don't realize this. That every time the person repeats what happened, that person goes through the same pain all over again. And I'm so sorry. Because of this show, you had to go through this again.
It's fine. It's better to say things than to keep inside yourself. I learned that through the hard way, I would say. So I didn't want to tell them everything, but I thought if I stop talking to them, they'll stop talking to me as well. And that thing spiraled a lot. I did things for them out of my way. I did things that I did not even like going out and like hanging out with my friends. I never used to go out anywhere without my parents, without my brother. And when they would be like, "Come on, Irina, let's just go. Let's just have fun." I would please I would just tell my mother, "Mom, please let me go, let me go." And my mom will be like, "You're not that like grown up to go alone." And I would fight with her again, and we would have a fight, and it was just a never ending cycle for me. We would have a fight. I would just scream on her. I would scream on my father. I would say, "You guys, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You don't understand me. You don't know what I'm going through. You just think about yourself." And I, I felt like I was never going to get out of this thing. And that time, we had an assignment in our school to write a story. And I felt as if, and before that, I've never written anything original. Always I copied from the net and just copied pasted everything. During exams only, my mind started working. So that was the first day that I thought of something, and everything was negative. Something bad happened to the protagonist. Either he or she is getting kidnapped or murdered or stuff like that. Nothing positive was coming out of my mind. I felt as if my friends were like, "How can you be so negative? How can you think so negatively?" And I felt, okay, I don't know. This is the only thing that comes to my mind whenever I think something. So I wrote the story. Even though the story was very negative, I don't know how I ended it on a positive note. And I came back home and I thought everything, what I should have written, what I should have corrected, what I should have added, what I should have removed. And that's when I started writing. I know many people write like do journaling and all, and I tried, but it became a chore to me rather than a pleasure. It was as if I have to wake up every day and note things down, and it was getting very hard to actually know what good is coming out of that. So I stopped doing that and I started writing stories. And all of the characters of the stories had something from me. Either one character has insecurities about themselves, like people will leave them. One character has something that they can do anything for their friends. I felt like as a friend, you should do anything your friend wants. I didn't know the difference between friendship and you, like someone is your friend or someone is using you. I felt that whatever they want, I should give to them. That's how only I'll be a good friend to them. And like everything was in my stories, each and every characters, each and every thing that I felt is wrong in me or is right in me, I added that in my stories. I added that through the characters of my story, and I started writing stories. And after that I felt that whatever I did was not right, like how I reacted to the situation, how I closeted myself off from everyone, how I was shouting at my parents. And then an important revelation came to me. My mother
So
told
while
me that
writing these stories, you were getting this understanding on your own.
yes, yes,
Wow,
yes,
this is
by writing these stories.
so.
So uh, that was the point when I got to know something that shook me to my very core. My mother told me that when my brother died when I was 6 years old, I remember I and my brother had to go to Lucknow for a checkup, because according to the doctors, they never saw something like this, never saw a disease like this. So we went to Lucknow, and there my parents got to know at that very point that my brother won't live for long. So
Elder
for
brother.
yes, so for more than 7 years, they knew this, that my brother won't live for long. And they
You
knew
can
that I am
believe,
fine.
they just lost one child, and immediately after they come to know that, they're going to lose the second child. Oh my God, we can't even imagine the pain.
And I remember I used to fight with my parents saying, Ki, you love my brother more than me. And I felt so guilty. Ki, how could I even
That's
think? They were
okay.
just doing.
All siblings, all of them, they say, I love me more. So that's okay, dear. Don't take it so heavy.
I just felt ki they were doing things from their side so that however long my brother is living, he can live happily. So they were just doing something extra for him, and I used to just retaliate. I used to fight with my brother. I used to fight with my parents on that. You guys don't love me. You guys love him more than me. And that very point, I felt as if hell broke from me. I felt, how could I have been so selfish to scream and to fight with my parents or with my brothers? How could I have been like that? And after a few days, I talked everything with them. I opened my heart out. I told what I felt, how I felt everything, how angry I was that they like did not tell me anything. They did not tell me about my brother's condition or the severity of his condition. They did not tell me anything. And then they stated their point of view that they knew that I won't be able to hide my feelings in front of my brother. They were so strong. I don't know how much strength they got from. I don't know. I'll never understand. But I couldn't have been that strong and be in front of my brother. Like, you'll be fine, knowing that he won't be fine.
See,
So
talking helps so much. It's so important to talk. Had you not talked, you would have never understood why they hid it from you. It was such a beautiful thought of theirs, to protect both their children from the agony that was from what is going to happen. So, and had you not talked, see, talking is so important. All the parents that come to me for parenting, I always tell them it's so important to talk. Don't think that the child is small or big. That's our conception. That the child will not understand. Child understands everything. Imagine even a small baby. If you talk, the baby responds. The baby understands because it is not just words. It's whole body, whole communication from your facial expressions, everything. So child gets it. So it's so important to talk. I'm so glad you both talked. You all talked, and I'm sure after that the relationship would have been wonderful.
but even then, our relationship wasn't perfect. Honestly, I still fought a bit. I still was angry on some things, and I still did not understand some of their actions and some of their thoughts. But I would say that my separation anxiety did decrease a bit. I stopped doing a lot of things for my friend and I started saying no to them when it was out of my comfort zone. I started saying them, I cannot do this anymore. I'm sorry. This is not what I am. This is not what I can do. And I would say that strength I got was from my parents because they explained it to me that if they don't talk to me after I say no to them, they are not my friends. They don't understand me. They don't know who I am. If they pressurize me to do something, they are not my friends. I lost a lot of friends because of that. A lot of friends, but I won't call them friends anymore. Remembering whatever they did, however they reacted on things, how toxic they were. I won't call them friends anymore. After class 12th, I remember my NEET result was another heartbreaking thing for me. I like after my brothers died, all of the expectations were on me to get good marks, to do something. Because like, I don't remember what I wanted to be from small. I was told you will be a doctor. That was the first thing I remember when I grew up. You will be a doctor from everyone. So naturally, I
Are your parents
like conditioned
doctors?
myself.
Are your parents doctors? No.
No, no. So
So how
naturally,
came?
I remember one of my grandfathers, like not my own grandfather. One of my grandfather, he just put his hand on my head and he said, "You will be a doctor." That was his line.
Wow,
And
look at that. Like this can be so filmy it is.
that was the scene I remember. I was very small, but I remember he just put his hand on my head and he said, "You will be a doctor." And after that, my parents were like,
And
"Yes,
the
you will be
whole
a
family
doctor."
goes around, pressurizing the child to be the doctor.
And I remember when my brother was very sick, he used to tell me that you be the doctor, I'll be the um, uh, I don't even remember the chemist, and you just prescribe medicines that are with me so that I'll also earn and you'll also earn. So his dream was also that I become a doctor. So that was not my dream anymore. That was my family's dream. And like all the pressure was on me. I have to get good marks in NEET. I have to do something. I have to become a doctor. Now it was a compulsion, more of a like choice. And when my NEET result came, I wasn't happy. It was horrible, horrible. And I just lost all my hope again. I closed myself in my room. I cried, I cried. There wasn't a day, like there wasn't a night when I did not cry, thinking, what will happen to me now? What will I do now? What can I even expect from my parents? Like, we are not a very well
So
off family. So,
unfortunate, actually. A child's complete career is based on one exam. That one exam, so the kind of, I would say just anxiety, the kind of pressure it creates on the child and the whole society, they would not be bothered what is happening in your life, but then for the result, far off family members will be calling, kya raha result, kya raha result, every Tom, Dick and Harry, everybody will be asking, so it's, all of these things put so much of pressure on, young minds. People don't realize that. And it's like, I strongly, parents who are listening here, who are seeing this show, I would say just give this assurance to your child that it's okay. Even if you fail, it's okay, it's all right. And trust me, your child will do much better than what he's doing. Just take the pressure off your child. Just take it off. It's so important.
I remember that failure was not an option for me because everyone would just come and tell me, oh, you will get good marks, you will pass, you will go into a good college. And that just creates more pressure rather than being a compliment for yourself. And the result was horrible. I I remember I cried so much and my parents were so angry, and we all, like, every night we started fighting again. The cycle started again. And that's when I started writing again, because in between, due to my exams and all these studies, I stopped for a while. But then I started writing again. And that time was also the time when I just completely indulged myself in writing, and I felt better. I felt as if somewhere my all my emotions are getting channeled.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
an outlet, a vent.
my parents decided to get me into a semi-private college. So we went for the mop-up round, but I did not get selected for it. And it was just one seat left, like one seat. And I was just behind the person, and he told me that I won't be choosing KPC, rest assured. And then he went there and he said, I want KPC. And I literally had to turn back from that moment, just going to the counter and saying, I want that seat, and coming back. And that during that time, it was Bakrid time. So our festival was also ruined. Like, we all of us were so disappointed. Like, just imagine going there and not getting what you wanted when you knew that the opportunity is so close to you. I just lost all my hopes, and my parents were like, is this how you're going to be? You can't even compete once again. What will you do in your life then? And I didn't know what happened to me. I mean, I don't even know what happened to me. I could have competed again, I know, but I did not choose to. And then we got another chance to, like, there was one seat left for the college mock-up round, and that was the seat I got. Like, it was such a
Reminds
coincidental
me of
thing.
that
I
movie, Chichore. So important to prepare
Yes,
your
yes,
children
yes.
for failures. So important. And we
I
never do.
remember I remember my mother saw this movie and she called me when I was in college and said, I'm so sorry, Alina. I said, why, mom? She said, I'm sorry I pressurized you so much. I did not think about your emotions. I did not think what you were going through. We just pressurized you. And ask your father, I cried so much while watching this movie. I said, I don't need to ask. I know you cried. It's fine. Don't give me any assurance of it. And after that
It was a
movie, after I
beautiful
got
story.
admitted,
Beautifully and
sure.
beautifully showed. And, it was hard hitting and, the need of the hour. And that is why people think parenting में क्या रखा है? Parenting क्या है यार? बच्चे तो पल जाते हैं. हम नहीं पले क्या? हम ठीक ठाक कर रहे हैं. See, everybody is having mental health issues. सब ठीक ठाक नहीं है. Parenting is very important, and it's as important as, finance or any other subject. And really, it's really unfortunate that the most important things and life skills are never taught. Never. The whole academics is based on, maths, physics, chemistry, bio, geography, history, everything they will do except life skills. When life skills is the most important thing. When I was doing my MBA, there was a subject called organization behavior. Nobody used to pay attention. Everybody was in, on finance and marketing and, you know, quantitative, all those subjects, everybody was focusing. Nobody used to, इसमें OB में क्या है? OB में तो कुछ भी करके आ जाएंगे. Once you start working and once you start coming, you come to, the corporate sector, you realize OB is the most important subject. You cannot perform if you cannot, work with people. And everywhere you have to work with people in teams. You have to lead them, you have to motivate them. So it is what the point I'm trying to make is the most important skills are never taught. And it's high time we understand. Very soon, this coaching industry is coming up, mentors are coming. Please educate yourself, even if whatever age you are in. Develop skills and at least an understanding to understand your children. See what all she went through.
After I was in college, that's when my parents and our relationship became more strong. We understood that the distance, the distance that separated us, made us even stronger. We understood that we can't live without each other. We need each other. We need to be with each other so that we'll be strong, because we knew that we'll be strong only together and we can't be strong without each other. And after that, I would say we never fought.
So this is a happy ending.
We just bicker a lot and just tease each other a lot. Now they're not my parents, they're more my friends. We just talk about everything. I mean, not even a single topic is left that we haven't discussed about. I'm like, I want love marriage. They're like, no, they want arranged marriage. And we want to talk about everything now. And I'm so glad that
that's so beautiful.
This type of communication is back. And I really am glad that I chose to talk to them and did not hide everything inside myself.
That was the turning point. Awesome. Lovely journey. And viewers, whoever is watching, see, channelize your thoughts. You might be going through a lot. Find something. She was, I think, counseled and told to do journaling. She didn't like journaling. She could express so well in the stories and the characters. And so whatever suits you, just do that. Everything is not money, finance, and career and everything. A lot of things are there for your well-being, your own happiness. It's so beautiful. Yes, Akansha, how are you? What happened?
Okay, so first of all, I really didn't want you guys to see me like this today. Like I was
here, be comfortable. It's okay.
Like I tried sitting for some time, like without my neck collar, and I was feeling uncomfortable. So I just said I just have to, because I have an autoimmune condition, actually multiple sclerosis, and I was diagnosed 2 years ago. And ever since then, I have been trying to find ways to help me cope up with all the accompanying anxiety and everything. So for the start, actually, I was having all those symptoms like 5 years back, actually. I just didn't want to go see a doctor for that. I just kept ignoring that until I just couldn't bear all that pain, and then I just had to see a doctor. And that day I was so shattered. Like I had my entire life in front of me, and I was like, I don't know what am I going to do. And my doctor said that there's no cure, it's a chronic condition, but we can still manage it. But medicines, they were just not working. So my doctor said that maybe you are stressing too much. You just have to believe in the process for that to be able to be managed. But I wasn't able to relieve that. So I had to go see a therapist, and first of all, she said even she was also a holistic coach at the same time. So she said you have to keep a note of every single stress. So even the slightest stressor can cause you a great deal of inflammation and pain. But that wasn't literally possible for me. So she said, you do one thing, like since I was having lots of panic attacks at that time, whenever you experience a flare up in your symptoms, you just write about that and see if that works for you. So I did that, but I wasn't able to write it out. It was
It's
hard
so
for me
easy
to
to
do that.
say, don't take stress, but how not to take stress? Again, it's a skill. These are skills which are not taught. Don't take stress. If just somebody comes and tells me, don't take stress, will my stress go away? It won't. It
No.
won't go just like that. Or if I think, oh, I don't have to take stress, now I have one more stress that I don't have to take stress. I have all that stress, all that is there, and then now I have one more stress that I don't have to take stress because then everything will be inflammatory. Isn't it like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it used to be literally, it is still so debilitating. Like whenever I am being anxious about something, next morning I am just not able to get out of my bed. My body is like so stiffened up, and it's literally, first of all, when I was diagnosed, it my very first concern was my academic performance, and it was like literally degraded each day by day because I wasn't able to give it that much of my time and energy. And everyone just kept telling me it's going to be okay. So I then realized that it wasn't, I wasn't lacking in the performance because I wasn't giving time to it. It was because I was being too anxious about it. And then I just stopped worrying about it. I just said, okay, even if I study for 3 hours a day, I'll just see what I can do in the exam. And like, I
Wonderful.
don't know, it was, I was fortunate or what, but I scored the same this time when I started less than I started used to study earlier. Maybe because
Probably
it
you started studying
wasn't,
smarter than harder.
yeah, actually. But yeah, so what I was going to share, like how I actually managed my stress and everything. Like my
Yeah.
therapist, she told me to keep note of everything. I couldn't. So I have always loved poetry writing. So I started writing poetry because just thought that since I am working with my therapist, it's not that I can't just listen to her and I can't tell her that it's not, I can't do it. There's no I can't do it in case of therapy. If you are doing something, working with someone, you have to like actually be into it. So I, instead of writing, instead of journaling, I went for poetry. And when I used to write poetry, it just, words, they just used to flow out of me.
Wow.
And it was, I don't know what it was actually working or what, but I literally loved the process. And venting all my negativities through that really helped me. And then I searched more about that. I dig deeper into that, and I found it wasn't just in my head that I thought it was working. There was actually a scientific backing behind creative writing, and especially poetry writing, because so there are
So
literally
interesting.
several poetic devices that can actually help you out. Like, first of all, my favorite, it's personification. When I actually use personification to personify my physical or emotional pain, it's like when I personify my pain, it's just gives me a belief that my pain, it's not a part of me, it's not my forever, and it does not get to define me. So I really
This
love
is
that. And
so amazing. Do you realize what you've done? People with a lot of wisdom and years of, tapasya are able to get this, what you got it. It's amazing. Wonderful, wonderful. I would like to know more. This is so interesting. And viewers, I
yeah,
don't think you would have also heard anything of this sort before. personifying the pain. And when you personify the pain, then you realize that the pain is separate from you. This is what, after years of meditation, people are able to, separate themselves from their physical body. That you are not just the body. You are something more than that, much more than that, and not just the body. Body is just like your clothes. This years of meditation and years of knowledge, people get it. And you at this young age, I must compliment that you got it and you started. Guys, please go and I thought, all these poetic devices are just for, English subject literature. When you identify which poetic device, whether it's alliteration or simile or, onomatopoeia or anything of that sort, or personification, metaphor, it has such a scientific, application. We didn't know that. I think you should do more research on it. I'll come with you in this research. It's
Actually,
amazing.
there are some others too. If like, should I share them?
Yeah, sure. It's so interesting. I don't think even viewers would have known much about it. Go ahead.
Actually, like I call these three devices as a mesmerizing trio. I really love using them. That's metaphor, simile, and imagery. It's something like, I'll just explain that with an example. Like whenever I am anxious, whenever I'm stuck in sort of a vicious circle, I just have a tendency to follow two pathways. One of them is just to go on and on rewinding all those negativities in my head, and other pathway is either just shut it off and instead just try distracting myself from that. And honestly, both of them never worked well. Like first one, like I always had a tendency to go more towards that. Second one, I did that because until recently, like I lost two of my family members, and I
This COVID.
instead of, yeah,
Oh.
and instead of actually processing those emotions, I just thought I wouldn't think about it, just let it be. And I literally started overworking it, totally exhausting myself throughout the day, finding all sorts of possible distractions and work in the world, until I could just exhaust myself to sleep. And it worked for a while, but then all of a sudden one night I had a nightmare, and then regarding loss of other family members of mine, and later on I just couldn't fall asleep.
Which
So,
family
and
members you
the
lost? Who, if I may ask, who did you
yeah,
lose? Which family members did you lose?
actually actually it was my chacha and my chachi. Like both of them were hospitalized for quite a while because of COVID, and but they were really healthy, so we were not hoping that we would lose them. So, and it was like
And they
first
have
time
children?
I ever realized,
They have children?
yeah, and they are actually also hospitalized right now. And that's why it actually worries me, because all of them, they were so close to me. And the day I lost them, all those memories, they were just rewinding in the back of my head. And I didn't want to think of those memories, those days I spent with them. I just wanted to go into a state of denial that nothing has happened. That's why I just went on distracting myself. And I but like I was saying, that it was hard to sleep for me. So, and the very process, when you can go on distracting yourself throughout the day, but when you try to sleep, that's when you actually face those thoughts. And that's something really hard. So one night I was so frustrated, I got out of my bed and I grabbed my diary and I just started writing. I wrote a poem out of it, and I felt so much better. Like, I know I am going to lose everyone someday, but I didn't want to accept that. But when I wrote that out, it just gave me a clearer insight that everyone has a purpose, a journey of their own. It's still hard for me to accept that, but whenever I get anxious thoughts, poetry is something that actually helps me let them out.
I'm so
So,
amazed. You both at such a young age, you are talking such deep things, which, people take ages to understand. I'm so amazed by the kind of depth both of you are showing. It's huge, huge.
like, I have broken down a million times, and I I don't know if I am even the right person to be saying all this stuff, but I don't know.
You
Maybe
definitely
it
are.
might work out for someone.
Yes,
I
because a lot of people have lost their near and dear ones. So it's so important what you both are sharing and how to cope up. It's so important. Yes, continue,
so
Beta.
like I was saying, like the two pathways. So none of them actually work basically. So I kind of thought of a middle ground, and even my therapist actually led me towards that you actually have to face your emotions before you try to let them go. So for that, I kind of was really kind of helped by three of the poetic devices: metaphor, simile, and imagery. It's like
Magical
metaphor and
trial, what do you call it? What do you call them? Which
yeah,
trial? Magical trial. Such a
mesmerizing trial.
mesmerized trial. Lovely.
So it's they kind of help me out because when I am using a metaphor or a simile, kind of I'm observing my pain or my emotions. I'm really observing that how does that really make me feel. Like once I wrote, like it seems dark all over, no matter how far I gaze. It's like I am stuck in a maze. So it's sort of a combination of metaphor and imagery, and like what I was basically feeling to just in order to vent it out, in order to channelize those negativities. These devices kind of really helped me out because I am sort of observing them without like getting lost in that vicious circle. And like for letting go, I always end up my poem on a positive note with a hope, because once I'm done venting out all sorts of my emotions, my anger, my pain, and everything, a part of me tells me that there still could be a hope for you. And that's why I always end it on a positive note for tomorrow.
This is such a beautiful and important thing that Akansha you pointed out. Actually, what happens is when our negative emotions or whatever, it just fills us up. And once we vent it out, venting out is so important that there is no place for positive thoughts. Unless you vent out your negative thoughts, there is no place. So you have to vent it out so that, and positivity is always generated from inside. It doesn't come from outside. It has to be generated from inside. But to be able to generate it and feel, how can you generate when there is no space for it to go? So your negative emotions have to be vented out, and then only positivity finds space. These are such deep things and philosophical things, and I'm so glad. And that is why, Anurakti, you guys are doing such a wonderful job, because the way I'm seeing the students, the past episode also and this episode also, this episode, I'm completely floored. The kind of depth, and that is why they have gone through so much, and that is why they are so what do you say so passionate, and such a beautiful job you guys are doing. I'm so glad, and I just love it. I would love to listen to one of your poems. Can you share? Do you have something
Yeah,
handy?
definitely. Yeah, actually. First of all, like, can I share like how a
Yeah,
beginner
sure,
can go
sure,
about
sure. Go
writing?
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, to be honest, I am definitely not a good writer. So that's why I'm sharing that, because anyone can write. So I would love that people would for once give this a try. So, like for the start, you can just begin by setting up a timer for like maybe 5-10 minutes. Like whatever's troubling you, just write words, phrases, whatever's coming to your mind. Like I can share an example. Like I wrote this when I was almost about to have an exam, and my body wasn't actually helping me out with that, and that was making me anxious. So these are the set of words that I used: breathless, those pulsations in my heart, that throbbing headache, my shaking hands, self doubt, confusion, being stuck in a maze, tired of explaining myself, tired of telling myself that I'm going to be fine when I don't know when, that sense of nauseating. It's like I'm drowning and I'm trying to fight the water. Like I wrote all these sentences and phrases, and like it's up to the person. You can either like convert these into short sentences and that will be your poetry, or you can add rhyming words at the end. Even finding the rhyming patterns actually helps you out. It helps you out getting a detour from that vicious cycle of your overthinking. So this is what I wrote out of those words and phrases. I'm trying my best, but my heart's beating like it's going to burst out of my chest. My arms are aching so much, and my hands can do nothing but shake. My body's so tired and tense as if it's about to break. Oh God, I'm too tired to write, and I'm too tired to stand. I'm too tired of explaining myself to everyone who won't understand. I'm tired of all this confusion and self doubt. It's like I'm stuck in a maze with no way out. It's like I'm drowning, but my body still continues to fight the water with all its might. But I know I'll heal one day. I know in my heart of hearts, all this pain is not going to stay.
Wow.
So,
Beautiful. See, this is the beauty, of scientifically minded people. You know, not just did she find a vent, not just did she find an outlet and a way of, having a vent to her feeling, she actually created a formula, and how, and with all those poetic devices and all, how you can do it. She has all her formulas now, and she can, uh, she's made it a customized kind of a thing that anybody can write, sort of. Amazing, dear, amazing. I'm so amazed. I'm so proud of both of you. I'm so proud of
Can
you
I
guys.
just say something? How can you say you're not a good writer? Seriously, that was so beautiful. Oh my god. Like, seriously, that was very beautiful. Seriously,
Oh,
I,
thank
I
you
would
so much.
love
That
to read
means a
more of
lot.
your poems. Seriously, I would love to read
Yeah.
more of your poems.
And I
Seriously.
would love
guys,
everyone to
you
try.
publish your stories, you publish your poems. I'll be the first one to buy.
That would be
I do
great.
publish, but I always delete thinking it's not good.
No. Don't see. It's not. It's your expression. Who are people to say it is good and it is not good? Anybody. It's good for the person who can identify with it. The person who cannot identify with it, it was anyway not meant for him. Are you getting what I said?
Yes.
So it's like it's your expression. It's yours. It's not others' expressions. If somebody can identify with it, they will benefit from it. And if they cannot, it was not meant for them. They can check out other genres. It's never, it's not good or it's good or what. Don't judge. It's beautiful the way it is. And it brings about beautiful things. And it's so amazing. Yeah, and wonderful poetry. I just loved it. Okay, now let's have some fun. Okay, let's see. I will share my screen. Now this is going to be the fun section because बहुत रुला दिया दोनों ने मुझे. I actually cried in the show. But okay, all's well that ends well. So let's have some fun. And I am going to share my screen. Okay, so here I've got some brain teasers for you. All of you can unmute yourself. Let me change the grid views because I have to see how. Okay, so you just shout out which answer you know. Okay, whoever shouts out first. So I'm going to just show you, just go on sliding. Every slide, it's a brain teaser. It's a something you will see and you have to make out what it is. They are mostly very, famous phrases and idioms or, so whoever gets it first, just shout it out and they get the point. Ready? I can't hear you. Have you all unmuted?
Yes, Sam. Yes, Sam. Yes.
Get charged up now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First one.
Fast forward.
Fast and Furious.
No. Think again. Think. This was an easy one.
Broken fast.
Close. That's very close.
Broken fast. Breakfast. Yes.
So Anurakti just said.
Achha, breakfast.
Breakfast.
You have to think out of the box.
Yeah.
Each of them. Start thinking out of the box. I kept the easiest one first.
Evening.
There is evening here.
Winning. Winning. Like.
I don't know.
Ma'am, can you give a few hints?
Yes, Sam, please.
Okay, I'll give it. Hell. It starts with hell. It ends with winning.
Hellbent winning.
Yes, hell bent on winning.
Oh, okay.
Alina got it, na?
No, Akanksha got this.
Akansha? Achha, okay,
Yeah.
Akansha got it. Okay, what is this? This is simple.
Choice over choice.
Very nice.
Triple choice.
Multiple choice.
Multiple, yeah.
Multiple choice.
Yes, it is who said that? Akansha
I
again?
said that.
Alina.
Alina, multiple choice. Yes. Next one.
Apple pie.
Yeah.
Yes, apple pie.
Apple pie.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Yes. Now you're getting it.
Half baked.
Yes.
Halfway.
This is
Try
easy.
to understand.
Try to understand.
First aid.
First aid.
First aid. ये डॉक्टर तो ये तो फटाफट कर लेंगे.
Slanted musically.
Musically
Oh,
inclined.
Yes.
Music.
Who said that? Musically inclined?
Akanksha.
Akansha woke up.
Temperature. Way down.
Doctors.
A degree below.
No.
A
It's a very commonly used phrase.
Your temperature is a bit high than normal. It is completely above.
This is poor doctor coming up. Think. We'll get it.
Temper.
Sure. Ma'am, we're not getting this.
A drop in temperature. See, A is dropped.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I said the opposite.
This is the last one.
Fooling around. Fooling around.
Yeah.
Fooling around. Awesome. So it was really wonderful talking to the bright students. and medical students, and it was wonderful and very, very insightful. I hope people, watch the whole show till the end, because there was so much to learn, so much to know, and so much to understand in the whole show. Like, I'm amazed. I'm so excited for the next episode also. I know what Anrakti is going to bring, which students you're going to bring. But so far, I've got a very, very good experience with you guys. And keep up the good work, keep doing it, and please publish your work. It is, there's lots of people will benefit from it, lots of people. And those viewers who are watching, just see how these little girls, how they have managed the whole thing, and they found a place how they can vent out. So when they can do it, you can do it too. Anybody can do it. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And I really enjoyed positivity with you guys. And see you again in the next episode.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was great having you on board. Thank you so much for conducting this for us.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
For everybody. I think the people have a lot to gain from this. It was wonderful having you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.